The day dawned like any other for Thomas Hale, the hum of routine enveloping him as he wielded his old broom against the polished marble floor of the museum. The sound reverberated softly through the still corridors, a gentle reminder of the life that drifted past him without notice. For 7 years, he had served this haven, mopping, sweeping, and occasionally tending to a loose frame or a creaky door hinge. To the visitors, he was an invisible presence, just the janitor. Yet, for Thomas, the museum was so much more. It was a sanctuary steeped in order and tranquility. He cherished that tranquility. The tempest of raising his 9-year-old daughter, Lily, alone was a constant whirlwind. Vibrant and full of wonder, she peppered him with questions that left him grasping for answers. "Daddy, why don't we have pictures of Mommy?" she would ask, her eyes shimmering with the innocent curiosity of youth. With a tender smile, he'd reply, "Because some stories are too beautiful to fit in a frame." On this particular morning, excitement crackled in the air as a new art exhibit unfolded. A generous benefactor had sponsored a stunning collection showcasing remarkable women who had transcended poverty to achieve greatness. Although he was instructed to keep his distance from the displays until everything was arranged, curiosity pulled at him like a magnet. The curator, a sharp-eyed woman clad in a sleek gray coat, beckoned him closer. "Mr. Hale, could you lend a hand with this easel? It's a tad wobbly." Grateful for the distraction, he rushed to assist. When the veil over the next painting was lifted, time seemed to stall. The portrait revealed a young woman seated by a sunlit window, golden rays dancing across her face. Her eyes, soft yet resolute, locked onto his with an undeniable familiarity. For a brief moment, the outside world melted away, and his heart raced. "Madam," he stuttered, his voice trembling with emotion, she grew up with me in the orphanage." The curator's brow furrowed in confusion. "You knew her?" Tears welled in his eyes as he nodded vigorously. "That's Eleanor. Ellie. We shared St. Mary's together. She used to braid the other girls' hair when they cried, promising to paint the world in beautiful hues someday." His voice caught, burdened by nostalgia. It had been years since he'd seen her, since that fateful day when a family arrived to adopt her. He remembered her waving goodbye, clutching a battered suitcase from the back of a car's window, while he lingered in the shadows, too old and too quiet to be chosen. The curator's tone softened. "I think you might be mistaken. This is Eleanor Grace, the celebrated artist and philanthropist. She passed away 2 years ago." Defeated, Thomas sank onto a nearby bench, transfixed by the portrait. "No, I'm not mistaken." He reached into his pocket, retrieving a frayed photograph, 2 grinning children, their faces smeared with mud, standing proudly before a crumbling brick wall. "That's us. We promised we would find each other again." Lily's small hand slipped into his, her curious eyes shimmering with wonder. "Daddy, who is she?" Thomas felt his throat tighten. "Someone I once called family." As the days rolled on, he found himself irresistibly drawn to that painting during every break. He'd sweep the floor in front of it, polish the frame with reverence, whispering memories like secrets, sharing them as if she could still hear him. He recalled how Ellie would sneak him slices of bread when hunger gnawed at him, how her melodies lulled the younger children to sleep, and how she had a magical way of painting delicate flowers on scraps of cardboard. One afternoon, a young woman in a tailored suit approached him with a warm smile. "You're the janitor who recognized Miss Grace, aren't you?" "Yes, ma'am," Thomas replied, his heart racing. "I was her assistant before she passed. She left instructions for her final exhibit, and there's something important you need to see." She handed him an envelope sealed with wax. Inside was a letter, written in familiar, elegant handwriting. "To whoever remembers me from St. Mary's, I haven't forgotten you. If this letter finds you, know that your kindness restored my faith in goodness. Life took us on different paths, but I've carried our shared childhood with me, each laugh, each tear. If you ever discover this, please visit the little studio behind the east wing. It holds something that belongs to us both." His breath caught in his chest. The assistant guided him to a small, hidden room behind the main exhibit. The air was filled with the faint scent of paint and aged wood. On a table lay a small, unfinished painting, two children clasping hands beneath a sprawling tree, their faces devoid of detail, as if waiting for someone to breathe life into them. Tears welled in his eyes. She never forgot. He lingered there, his calloused fingers gently tracing the dried brushstrokes. Lily, who had quietly followed, looked up at him with innocent hope. "Daddy, maybe you can finish it." A faint smile broke through his tears. "Maybe I can." That evening, after the museum had closed its doors, Thomas remained behind, with permission. He retrieved a set of inexpensive paints he had bought for Lily and began to fill in the empty faces. With each brushstroke, he breathed life into the canvas, the little boy with unruly hair and the girl with gentle, expressive eyes, both blossoming under his loving touch. When he completed the painting, it felt as though it had come alive once more. He placed it beside her portrait, a heartfelt homage to a promise that transcended time. The following morning, visitors flocked to admire the small, seemingly unfinished painting that had mysteriously appeared next to Eleanor Grace's portrait. Some remarked that it brought a delightful warmth to the exhibit, while others questioned its origins. Thomas kept the secret close to his heart. He simply smiled and resumed his sweeping, feeling a sense of joy that had eluded him for years. That evening, as he strolled home with Lily's hand clasped in his, she whispered, "Daddy, I think she's happy now." He glanced up at the starry night and murmured, "So am I." And in the tranquil embrace of memories and colors, two orphans finally found their way back to the love they'd always longed for.